Hey, what's going on, guys? This is AndrewChicken, and welcome back to another video. Today, we are on the PTS, which has just been released, and we're going to be taking a look at Betty La Bomba, the newest champion coming to the realm. She is the Bomb Queen, and she is here to basically blow the entire realm up and get revenge on Bomb King in the process. So, we're going to be taking a look at her today. We're going to be taking a look at her kit, seeing how she plays, seeing basically what all she can do, and testing her in the shooting range. And yeah, if you've been keeping up with my channel the past, day and a half, 2 days, or whatever, you'll know that, I did have a hack go on my Twitch channel and on my Google account. And I was a bit razzled by it, I was a bit stressed by it, but I'm feeling a little bit better now. It's been quite a few hours since the incident. All my accounts are feeling pretty secure, and so, yeah, I'm just going to try and push forward, move past the incident. I'm going to try and just, carry on, get back to normal, and, yeah, continue making videos, continue streaming, and just, yeah, move forward. So, if I do seem a bit off this video, that's why, but I think overall, I'm well enough to do a video. So let's do a video then, shall we? Betty La Bomba, let's go over her. So she has a grenade launcher and a whole bunch of other bomb-related abilities that she uses. She is a powerful area damage dealer. In fact, every single ability of hers is area damage. But not exactly the best duelist. And she has a lot of interesting cards as well, which if you want to see more in detail her cards in particular, I have a video on the update notes where I go over all of that. I have timestamps for everything. I won't be going over every card in this video, but I will be going over a few noteworthy ones and a few builds that you could possibly make with Betty La Bomba that synergize well with her abilities and her talents. Although in actuality, it's her one talent. We don't talk about the other two, but we'll get into that in a moment. First, I want to show you guys her skins, though. So, we have Default Betty, which, in my opinion, for some reason, Default Betty looks a little bit off in, the menu here. It's like the lighting on her is weird or something like that. I don't know if it's, the color of the clothes she's wearing or something like that, but she looks a bit out of place, almost like a sticker. Kind of. She looks flat. In terms of the actual visual quality. I don't know. I would say this is probably one of the lower quality new champions in terms of the actual default model. If you compare her to someone like Seven or Azan or Vatu, she doesn't look as visually interesting in my opinion. She still looks great, but in terms of the actual texture quality, I don't know. She does have other good skins, though. Honestly, every single other skin is better than the default skin. We have the pink skin, which honestly looks way better than I was anticipating. It's got, dark purples mixed in there, and then the pinks are too pastel or desaturated. And also on all of her skins, her hair actually looks phenomenal, I must say. They did a really good job with that. So there's this skin, there's Queen of Diamonds, which is the Season Pass skin, and oh my, this looks very, very interesting. A lot of contrasting, bright, popping colors here, and it looks pretty cool as well, I'd say. Unfortunately, I can't use it on the PTS right now because I can't even get the Season Pass on the PTS, which is a bit strange. But yeah, this is her limited skin. And then Golden Betty, the skin that I'll be grinding for eventually. Honestly, it looks about par for the course with what I was expecting given the splash art. It actually looks very accurate to the splash art. The gold isn't too particularly shiny. In fact, it is more of a muted sort of brown almost on her leggings, for example. And there are some pups of more brighter gold, on the what do you call the trim here on this, and her crown and stuff. Actually, her crown looks phenomenal, by the way. And her hair, again, looks absolutely fantastic. And it's got me wondering, why do they not do this whole treatment where it's brown fading into gold and looks all detailed? Why do they not do that with Pip? I feel like that would have looked. I feel like that would have looked a lot better. I don't know. It's a bit weird, but yeah, gold skin looks pretty nice. And yeah, we also have emotes and stuff, so we can take a look at this default emote, and we can take a look at Deadly Game, which is also available in the Season Pass, and I can't use it. But yeah, she juggles bombs with one hand. Pretty cool. I wish I could do that, but I can't. I don't have any bombs to do it with. And also MVP pose, we got Your Queen, and then of course the default one. So there's all of Betty's cosmetics. Let's go ahead and get into her abilities now. Alright, so here we go. For some reason, I'm using the modified, pink weapon with the default skin. I don't know what's going on with that, but okay. Let's just roll with it. Got the pink weapon, I guess. And yeah, you can see it is a grenade launcher, obviously. Note about that. It actually has little stickers, little emojis on the each of the grenade canisters, and I think that's a really cute touch. But yeah, it's a grenade launcher very similar to Dredge's. So you can shoot it. It will bounce off of terrain and bounce, and it actually kind of bounces a lot more than Dredge's. With Dredge's, they pretty much only bounce once when they hit the floor, but this one, if I aim it down there, you can see it bounces several times and just kind of lands on the floor and eventually halts to a stop. So a bit of different physics with this grenade launcher, and Yeah, also, there's no recoil. I think that's a bug. There's no way they're releasing a grenade launcher that doesn't have some sort of kickback to it. This animation looks bugged. So, yeah, a bit weird, but it does have pretty nice range, but of course you can see it does have a finite range, because of course the bombs will explode after 2 seconds. So, like, can I even hit this Victor? I don't think I can. Oh, I can! Oh, nice. And yeah, it also does explode on direct contact with an enemy, and it does 550 damage. And if I hold down left click, this is about as fast as it fires. It doesn't actually say the exact fire rate anywhere, but this is it. So, pretty slow. I mean, I'd say it's about on par with Bomb King, maybe Willow, I want to say, just in terms of how it feels. And yeah, only 550 damage per shot, so it's really low. You're going to be pretty much 4-shotting people, you know, at best, for most of them. In fact, for all of them, actually, because there's no way you can 3-shot, unless it's someone with 1900 health, and even then, they're probably going to buy Haven, they're probably going to buy Veteran, it's going to be annoying. So yeah, low damage on her primary weapon, but of course, this isn't her only source of damage. She has several ways to supplement it. And the first of those is, of course, her Cluster Bomb, which is basically Willow Seedling, but the more enemies that are hit by the initial explosion, the more bombs will be deployed. So I can shoot this at the 3 Victors here, and it should hit all 3 of them, right? Yeah, it does. And so we get 3 cluster bombs, and each of them does 500 damage, and so you can see these guys are actually pretty low, and we can just finish them off with her grenade launcher. Nice and straightforward, but if I only shoot it at this Vic, it does 250 with the initial explosion, and then 500 with the other one for 750 damage total. My gun is glitched! Nice, 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 nice. Nice animations. She is so clunky on the PTS right now. I think they've got a few issues to hammer out with her, but we can still generally experiment with her kit. It's like if we throw cluster bombs at these guys and then start shooting them while it's going off, yeah, I mean, it's a pretty good amount of damage, and she does have a talent which can supplement this damage even further, which we'll get to in a moment. Her next ability, though, is her, what's it called again? Hail of Bombs. I like to call it just like her mortar, or kind of a volcano. In fact, a volcano skin I think would be a really cool concept for this champion, because look at this ability. It's a volcano of bombs. Yeah. So you throw it out, it stays there, it cannot be destroyed, and it just spews bombs all over the place. And you can see it got those guys pretty low. So you can imagine if we combined that ability with a cluster bomb and then also spammed regular grenades in that general vicinity, anybody caught in there is dead. Pretty crazy. In fact, let's do that. Here we go. Let's spam the abilities. That central Victor, I feel so bad for him, but yeah, there we go. They're all dead. Of course, that is a sync of using all of her abilities at once. But I mean, it's okay. Hail of Bombs has a 14-second cooldown, unfortunately, so it does, you know, take a while to come back. But Cluster Grenade only has a 6-second cooldown. And you can actually make the cooldown lower with her cards. So, unlike Willow Seedling, which has a very long cooldown, this one is much more spammable. So, do keep that in mind. Her next ability is her movement ability. It's called Explosive Personality, and it feels very clunky to use, in my opinion. Basically, it's like kind of a hybrid between Poppy Bomb, Androxus Dash, and Weightless from Pip. So, basically, you have 3 charges of it, and you just kind of dash and jump forward. So, let me demonstrate. I'm going to just not, you know, I'm not going to put my hand on the keyboard. I'm just going to do this. So, yeah. And it also actually kind of goes from, I guess, left to right to left, or something like that. And it also does a little bit of damage. I think it's 300 on the initial explosion. Something like that. In fact, we can test it. Here we go. That was, yeah, about 300. Yeah, 300 damage. And you cannot control the direction of the dash with your keyboard. So we'll wait for it to come back again. And I'm going to just, you know, I'm going to hold S. I'm going to walk backwards and then use the ability. And you'll see I'll actually still go forwards. So I'm holding S. And then I still go forwards anyways. Same with, you know, holding left. It just sends me forward. So there's no directional dash to it. Like, there's no directions to it. Whereas if you were to use something like Vatu Dash or Ruckus Dash or Cassie Roll or any of those different things, you know, you would have that directionality to it. So this does feel very clunky to me, I will say. But it's still a movement ability. At least she has that. She has some vertical mobility. Like, if we spam all 3 of those, we can actually get up pretty high. And you can, of course, modify that with cards as well, if you so desire. Anyways, last but not least, her ultimate. This is a modified version of Bomb King's ultimate, and you can definitely see where they took inspiration from. Like, there's so much Bomb King inspiration here. It's basically his ultimate, but if he could fly, and yeah, it doesn't stun enemies. Instead, it knocks them back. It does less damage than Bomb King's ultimate, but there's also the functionality where if you press the ultimate button again while you're riding the rocket, which is what she does, by the way, she rides a rocket, you'll just throw it at them. You'll literally just yeet it at them. So let's go ahead and get on the rocket. And yeah, look at this flight. And it actually lasts a very long time as well. Very bad turning radius, but if I press E like that, I just yeet it at them. And it does 1700 damage, so I can finish these guys off with one bomb. And it also, you saw there, knocked them back. So let me get another one real quick if I can. Yeah, come here. There we go. So yeah, the forward momentum from this, and actually the vertical travel as well, is very nice, but the turning radius is just so long. And if you impact an enemy while you're flying into them, you'll just, yeah, you'll explode like that. And that animation was also incredibly buggy. She's got a lot of clunky, buggy animations, and it's really annoying. But the actual functionality of the ultimate is still really cool. The flight speed is actually really, really fast, which I like. You'll be able to use that pretty crazily on a lot of different maps. And yeah, the damage is nice, obviously. It leaves them all one shot for your grenades, so that's pretty cool. And yeah, the fact that you can also just throw it at them from a distance is really helpful. You know, it's something that she has over Bomb King's ultimate. Bomb King's ultimate obviously does more damage and it stuns them, but he has to be like practically in melee range to get the most value out of it. Whereas Bomb Queen, yeah, she can be, you know, all the way up there and hit those guys with it. So yeah, pretty cool. Pretty interesting trade-off. So yeah. Cool stuff there. Let's go ahead now and check out some of her talents. So there's 3 of them. Fiery Disposition is her first talent, and I would argue her best talent beyond a shadow of the doubt. So the explosive damage from any of her abilities sets enemies on fire for 0.3% of their maximum health every 0.1 seconds for 1.5 seconds. So basically 3% of their maximum health every second for 1.5 seconds. So that would be 4.5% of their health in total per explosion. It's a nice damage buff. Her next talent is Controlled Fury, which reduces the range of Hail of Bombs by 50%. So it concentrates all the explosions in a smaller area. I guess it's useful if you want to throw it at Yagharoth, but considering that people can run away from it, I would think you would want to have more range on it. I don't know. Anyways, it also reduces the cooldown of Hail Bombs by 2 seconds, which is always a plus. Gotta Bounce is a worthless, pathetic excuse of a talent, from what I've experimented with. I'm just going to say it. Reduce the cooldown of Explosive Personality by 6 seconds. That's really good. But that's where it stops. Reduce your movement speed by 15%. This is at base. Her base movement speed is reduced by 15%. She's so slow. It's not good. And then you can also decrease the effectiveness of your Explosive Personality. So, you know, you reduce the cooldown of Explosive Personality to, what is it, a 4-second cooldown? Yeah, Explosive Personality has 10-second cooldown by default. So you reduce it to a 4-second cooldown, but you make your jumps weaker, and you also are slowed by default. I would argue this talent probably gives you less mobility than her base movement. It's just that bad. So yeah, let me just demonstrate. Here is her base movement speed, obviously. You can see we're walking, and then we use our Explosive Personality. And yeah, we can go pretty far with it. Let's go ahead now and demonstrate the talent real quick, just to show how awful this is. I'm going to be sticking with the default build here just for all these demonstrations until we talk about builds. Look at how slow I am! Look at how much slower she walks. You know how easy of a target that makes her? You know? She's got a very, like, wide hitbox, because she is a wider character, and being slow as well, she's going to be really easy to hit, and she only has 2100 health, so that's not good already. And then we can go ahead and use Explosive Personality. Look at how little distance I get. Yeah, the cooldown is really low, but the problem with the cooldown being this low is that she doesn't really have a card to complement this that well, because, let me just show off one of these cards as well. Where is it? He Will Explode. This card reduces the cooldown of Explosive Personality by up to 30% after activating Hail of Bombs, which normally would be a 3-second cooldown, but on this talent, I don't even think it's 1 second, or actually it might be 1 second, pretty much, give or take. So it scales horribly with this talent. If it was a 3-second cooldown at max, then you would be able to run that card with Gotta Bounce, and you'd have a 1-second cooldown on the movement ability, and that would actually be worth it, I'd say. But not like this. No, not like this. So yeah, already without even experimenting with it in a real game, I gotta say this talent is probably one of the worst talents we've seen come to the game in a while. Just because the trade-off is so not worth it. And yeah, Controlled Fury, I mean, it's merely alright. Less of a cooldown on Hail Bombs is nice. And I guess if you wanted to concentrate it, like you could, and you could go for a build something like this, Hailstorm, which has Runaway in it for a decreased explosion radius to make up for the fact that you're losing out on that area damage. Or I guess that larger area. Of course, you could also use a Runaway with, without the talent, and then have extremely large radius and then extremely large area as well. It's up to you. And I also discovered that this card scales really high. He can increase your movement speed by a whopping 75% for 2 seconds after activating Hail of Bombs. It's kind of nutty. I don't know how effective it'll be in a real game. I haven't actually played her in a real game. These are just test builds. We're experimenting with stuff, but on paper that card seems really, really nice. So yeah, we can grab that talent. We can yeet one of these at the victors, and then as soon as it lands on the ground, look at how fast I move for those few seconds. And yeah, I mean, it did kill all 3 of them there, so, there's an argument to me that it's helpful. But at the same time, if they were real players, they could just run away from it. I guess it also knocks them back, doesn't it, a little bit? Let me throw this down again. Yeah, there is a slight knockback to it, so maybe it'd be harder to run away from than I'm thinking. But, I don't know. It's a weird talent, but I mean, Fiery Disposition, there is no denying the benefits of this talent, and there are no drawbacks either. Absolutely no drawbacks. The fire damage doesn't stack, so like if you hit 2 bombs within 1 second, you don't get double damage for, half a second or whatever. It just has the additional hits refresh the duration of the fire, and if you keep that fire burning for long enough, you're going to do a lot of damage. So here we go. Let's grab this build. Let's go back to the default build. And yeah, I mean, just let's throw one of these out again. Yeah, you can see all of those mortar bombs are doing fire damage now. And yeah, we can just shoot. We can shoot that guy. The fire damage isn't going to kill him, but it does help get him a little bit lower. And yeah, the cluster bombs also do the same thing. So if you throw a cluster bomb there, bada bing, bada boom, lots of damage. And yeah, I mean, on the victors, it's not going to be that much of a difference. But on tanks, her tank busting potential with this talent is going to be nuts. In fact, we can briefly, actually, let's use ultimate for this. Let's just go over to the Fernando real quick. Actually, I'm not sure if her ultimate does fire damage too. I imagine it does, right? Yeah, her ultimate does fire damage too, but you can see that was double the damage on Fernando. So, like, if we throw one of these down, we just light this whole place up. He is gone. So, and also one thing to note about the cluster bombs that I forgot about, I am fairly certain, because they said on the update show, I think, that the cluster bombs will spawn more of them. If it also hits shields, deployables, stuff of that nature. So, like, against a barrack, this cluster bomb is going to be especially deadly, and of course lights them on fire for percent base damage too. So, and yeah, there we go, that guy's dead. Nice, save me a shot. I just think, this is by far probably her best talent. I said it in my update notes showcase thing, and I'm saying it again. I think it is just really good. But again, I haven't played her in a real match. We are going to be streaming real matches on the PTS on Twitch. Eventually. I'm not really sure what time of day I'll do that, or if I'll just postpone it to Sunday or whatever. We'll see what I'm feeling after this video comes out, but we will be uploading, or we will be trying her out in real games on the PTS live on stream, so you won't want to miss that. So go check out the Twitch. But anyways, let's talk about cards now. So she has a lot of interesting builds that she can go for, including one that just increases the explosion radius of everything. You could just go for this, because she has 3 different explosion radius cards, for her cluster grenade, for her regular explosions, all of them, and also for her Hail of Bombs explosives. And so we could potentially just grab this build, throw a Hail of Bombs in here, and just get crazy area denial and area damage. And by crazy, I mean slightly improved from normal. Honestly, this build probably isn't the greatest. There's also a build that I already showcased earlier, yeah, where we have movement speed after activating Hail of Bombs. And yeah, it's basically a Hail of Bombs build. But we also have this cluster spam build. From Betty with Love, increase the explosion radius of cluster grenades' initial explosion by 30%. This is important so that way you can hit as many people with the initial explosion as possible, so you get as many of those secondary cluster grenades as you can. And then Queen's Reign as well, for reducing the cooldown of cluster grenade by 0.5 seconds for each enemy hit with the initial and secondary explosions. So if you hit enough people with this, it's an instant reset. Crazy. And also Ride the Rocket just for a little bit of extra shield and deployable damage. You could take this out and kind of make a secondary build if you're not going up against, like, beefy tanks with shields and deployables or whatever, but I think against those types of tanks, this will be a nice touch. And then also Eureka Moment is a level 1 filler. I feel like the extra ammo will actually be pretty beneficial with how many cluster bombs you can spam. So, like, we can throw a cluster bomb out, we can just spam shots at the Nando, get a bunch of ammo back, and we can already just do that again. And they're dead. So, against hyper-clumped comps, I feel like this build will actually be stupendously effective. Again, I don't know, we have to test, but, I mean, there's only 3 people here. 3 things that I'm hitting with this cluster bomb, and I'm getting instant reset. So you can imagine against stationary setups like a Barrack or an Inara or something of that sort, how nutty this is going to be. Yeah, her primary fire isn't the best, but when you combine it with these other abilities, I feel like her damage potential is actually alright. Might be a little bit rough in a 1v1, especially I'm thinking like against a flying flank like Maeve or Vatu or something. I feel like that's where she'll really struggle, because good luck hitting, you know, Vatu or Maeve with the cluster bombs. Maybe you could. I don't know. Like, let's see, if I put the cluster bomb over here, does that hit Fernando? No, it does not. So yeah, they'd have to be kind of in this sphere. Maybe you could do it, I don't know. I feel like this ability might also be sort of anti-flank, but at the same time, not really. Because it's just kind of random, sporadic, and the damage per bomb isn't actually that high. So you're really relying on your primary fire against flanks and other flank champions. Like Drogo's will probably also be a really, really good counter to Betty. And yeah, she doesn't really have any answer to that. So that's her one glaring weakness. But if you pair her with another damage champion or a support or a tank or someone who can protect her and cover her weakness of being weak to flanks and flying champions, then she could just be a dominant tank buster. That's kind of where I'm thinking her role is. So, yeah, really interesting cards. And there is also one last build we could showcase, which is the mobility build. This test build, don't worry about it. It's just random cards. Mobility build. Queen's Entrance, Fire from Above. Increase the vertical and lateral movement from each use of explosive personality by 50%. So you go farther in both directions, forward and upwards. And we also have a little bit of air control as well with Stylish Destruction. It's basically just a mobility spam build, and you could use it with the mobility talent, but honestly, the mobility talent is garbage, and so, yeah. And honestly, it's probably not worth investing that many cards into it anyways for what you just saw there, that effectiveness. I don't know, it's just... This movement ability is really not my cup of tea. I mean... you can't even make it up there. I guess it's, you know, it's alright enough. And maybe on some maps, you would actually find this to be very beneficial, like maybe on Timbermill or Serpent Beach or something like that. But I feel like it's a more niche build. So, in my opinion, day 0, like, just predictions after actually getting to play with her on the PTS for, like, 30 minutes. Cluster spam is going to be kind of nutty, I'm hoping. And maybe some combination of, like, Hailstorm cards, mixed with some mobility, maybe mixed with some max health or something. You could see a lot of those builds run as well. I don't think you'll see this be used too much. I definitely don't think Gotta Bounce is going to be good. Controlled Fury, you might see that occasionally, but I think it's just going to be Fiery Disposition everywhere. And she's going to be a tank buster who's weak to flanks. I kind of think that's what we're going to see here with Betty. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. What do you think about Betty based on, you know, now you've gotten to see a little bit of her in this showcase? And yeah, do you think she'll be fun? Do you think she'll be good? What are your thoughts? I want to know. But with that being said, thank you guys for watching. I'm going to end this video off here, so if you've enjoyed, make sure to drop a like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss an upload from me. Also, make sure to check out my Twitch channel and my Discord server, both of which are linked in the description down below, because I will be streaming on streaming the PTS on Twitch. I was about to say streaming on the PTS. That doesn't really make sense. But yeah, I will be streaming the PTS on Twitch. And also, if you want to talk with other people about the PTS and any Paladins-related content or other games-related content, you know, you can talk to people about anything on my Discord server. Go check it out. And lastly, if you want to help support me and keep me doing what I'm doing, check out my Nexus shop. If you were looking to buy crystals or the season pass or anything of that nature, you should do it there because a portion of all the proceeds go to help supporting my channel. So yeah, with that all out of the way, thank you guys for watching. And again, you know, with the whole hack situation, thank you all for your support. It really means a lot to me, and I'm trying to get back to normal. I think things should be okay going forward, and we're just going to try and move on from here. We've, you know, learned a valuable lesson. And, well, I guess it's only up from here, right? So, yeah, thank you guys for watching. I will see you all next time. Peace out.